Hi, Keith Herrington here. I went ahead and installed some lighting yesterday on my RV that goes up underneath the awning, the little LED lights and light strip in particular. I did not record the complete process, mainly because I forgot. Later, after doing the job, I said that I need to at least review the installation, so it may help those that's thinking about putting some lightings in. I have a electric awning, so for me it was a little bit easier. I still had to get creative on running the power source to the lighting. As you can see here, the lighting is up underneath the awning, and I ordered lighting that was 16 foot, and by doing so it fit underneath the awning. One thing you must do before installing your lighting, and you need to wipe the whole wall down with some alcohol. There's probably other chemicals to use. Alcohol, I think, is the best overall. You don't need the 91%, the RV, so use the 70, I think it's 75% alcohol to clean your surface before installing the lighting. The lighting does have a peel-off backing, double-sided tape that makes it easy to install. You want to start your install from the side that you're going to be running your power down to, which in my case is this corner, because as you can see, this is where my wiring comes in for my awning. Another thing you'll need to do, and we're gonna cover this as much as I can. Okay, you take off that insert panel, this plastic grommet cover that's inside your awning post. Once you remove your silicone, this is what you'll see. You'll see a hole about 1 inch in diameter, maybe 1.5 inches. And it goes inside one of your beam posts, your structure posts, and the wiring is, in this case for an awning, goes up to the ceiling for power, which I can't get to, and there's no way to draw power from this cable because it has a switch. The power is actually inside the RV that controls the power to this cable that runs my electric awning assembly. I had to figure out a way to get power up, which is this wire here that I had to couple inside the housing, which you can't see because I've got it already enclosed. The actual lighting system comes with a power supply to plug in the wall. Did not have that option, and I wanted it more permanent, so I chose not to go this route. I've cut the power cable from the power cord. It is a 12-volt power pack, and your RV is 12 volts. So you just need to tie into a source, a power source. Okay. Inside my RV, I have a switch right here that controls my front stabilizers. I knew if I could find a power source at that point, that would be the ideal place, considering my arm is in close proximities and where the power comes in to the actual switch. I was thinking once I remove this panel, I would have access to that arm, where the arm comes in the RV. I'm inside the RV right now, and the actual power for the awning comes in right about here inside one of the beams, one of the structure beams, and it doesn't come anywhere near this area where I can run power in. I didn't want to drill a hole inside the wall of the RV, so I had to get power from the nearest place, which is inside the enclosure for my stabilizer power. So we're looking, like we're saying, we're looking for distance probably about 8 inches or so into that structure. You will need a bit about 10 to 12 inches long. In my case, may not need one quite that long in your case, but I did need one that long in my case. And the diameter is about 3/8. Okay, you want to make sure you get a bit long enough or wide enough to make a hole large enough to pull your wire back in to the area that you need to connect. Okay. What I did was take this shroud off, the actual door opening for my garage area. Had to take that off, and up here in this corner there's a connector part. It's like a plastic patch in this corner, on every corner. And the first thing I had to do, I had to open this area up and drill a hole to make a passageway from here over to here into this cavity to be able to chase my wire back through to get power to where the closest area I can connect to. What I did was I run the bit into this corner, drilled it in here, and you want to make sure that there's anything else in this cavity that could cause an issue. In my case, it was just getting through all the structure points over to this opening right here where the wire comes in at. Drilled a hole in here directly through into this structure cavity right there. Okay, once that's done, you open it up here to be able to chase your wire through. Okay, I also, let's see if I can get in here to see it. I also had to drill a hole inside here so I could pull the wire in from this cavity that I've drilled through here and fish the wire back through. I hope you can see that with this camera. So okay, so I had to drill in here, which is through a structure, so you have to cut that steel. That steel piece will come out here for your structure. You'll have to fish that out. And then from this point, I fished a thin wire from here through this cavity into this area to where I connect this wire right here and pull it through and get it into this cavity. Then from this cavity up here in the corner, I had to come back here and pull the wire through this hole, pull it back through. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Okay, if you know the area you're going to be drilling into, you can leave it screwed down until you get the hole drilled. What we're going to do, we're going to drill a hole for this switch. This switch is going to turn the power off to the light system as a backup, and I'm going to explain why we're doing that for another reason after I get it in. So we're going to go ahead and drill a hole that will allow us to put the switch in. Okay, now we've got the hole drill. We're going to take this cover panel off so we can get the switch in from the back and wire it in. I want to remind you too, in this particular wiring configuration, I'm already plugged into power. This is hot all the time, so the only safe thing to do it correctly would be to go ahead and kill the power inside the camper so there's no power to this line at all. Okay, you're going to go ahead and you got to separate your wiring here once you cut the casing off of the wire. and you've got, of course, you've got a ground wrap in this one. It depends what kind of wire you're using. If you're using a grounded wrap, you just got to pull the ground away to expose the wires inside. In this case, I'm using the blue as a positive and the white as a negative. Okay, once we got these wires exposed, I'm going to go ahead and pull everything out of the way here. Okay, we're going to put the switch in now on the blue wire, which is red. So what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and separate the blue wire here. Cut it. I'm going to cut it in half. Now, like I said, it's 12 volts, so there's no danger of getting electrically get shocked or anything, but just got to be conscious of what you're doing so you don't short the wires together. That's the biggest thing, is once this wire is exposed, if it touches the negative side, it will short out and blow a fuse inside, and you can avoid that by being careful or by turning off the main circuit breaker. And like I say, if you're a novice, I would recommend you doing that. Okay. Okay. Now we've cut the wire. This is the positive wire we're cutting. So we're going to go ahead and put these splices in. Let's see. This one here, you can see it's got a little tab in there, so it stops. So you go up to where it stopped, the stopping one, and this one here will go in the opposite side, right in there like that. Okay. And it doesn't matter what side. It's not polarity sensitive at this point. The switch is just to break the circuit. And you go ahead and crimp it down. Okay. One thing I wanted to cover with everybody. We added a switch here to have an override, a power shut off to prevent any issues like the controller shorting out and the lights staying on all the time, or the fact that we don't know what the EMF value will be on the motor, the stabilizer motor. So when it's disconnected, will it send a voltage back up the circuit and damage the controller? We don't know all those things. I think the motors are protected with a diode as a safety feature, so it doesn't damage the power supply inside the RV. But as a safety factor, we wanted to go ahead and put a switch in there just to prevent that. So right before you raise or lower the stabilizer, you flip the kill switch, and that turns all the power off, disconnects it from this circuit that's powering the switch that goes to the stabilizer. We don't want any kind of issues there. The other thing that I wanted to cover was one of these lines going back up your switch. We need to put a fuse in there, and the reason is because this circuit here is protected, but it's protected at a real high current value, much higher current than what this circuit is going to the lights. The lights are at 4 amps. So if you had a short anywhere in this circuit going up to the lights, like a pinch wire or something, the wires could possibly overheat and catch fire. So to prevent that, we put a fuse in line, and that gives it some extra protection ahead of the fuse that's feeding the circuit here coming up to the stabilizer. So it's always a good thing to put a fuse in there. So I'm putting a fuse in there right now. It's a 5 amp fuse, which will do the trick, and it gives you the range of the controller, which is 4 amps. So you got an extra amp protection for anything that you load up with the light system. And then you also have that safety factor, so if these two wires get shorted, it's got a value of 5 amps. It'll literally blow this fuse out. And when it blows that fuse, of course, the circuit's disconnected completely. So I recommend that you put one of these in. You put a fuse in line, and you can take some terminal connectors like I'm doing here. Just use an automotive fuse. You can get a screw-in type fuse. There's different styles you can get. This is probably the easiest way to do it. And just put it in the circuit, and it'll always be there if you need it. And if some reason your lights go out, then you always go back to this fuse and see if this fuse is blown. And if that is blown, the odds are that this wire has gotten trapped or shorted to the chassis at some point. Okay, so make sure you put that fuse in line anyway. And once you get it all connected and everything, get it crimped down, then it's just a matter of plugging it in. And now you have a fuse in circuit. So, and that'll give you a protection you need in case this wire gets cut or trapped. Okay. Okay, go ahead and push your switch into the hole you drilled earlier until it pushes through the front. And we're going to go ahead and screw the cover on the switch. Like I say, you don't have to get real crazy with the switch. It just an override. You just want to keep it, so it's. And then I would label it afterwards. Put a labeler on there and put on or off, so you know which position it's off. You know when you turn your control on if it works, it's working or not. So, but let me. I would recommend too. A lot of them don't come with a star washer. Put a star washer behind it. That'll keep it from turning in the back, which this one's actually doing now. So I may go ahead and put that on at a later time, so that way it doesn't get turned. Okay. Once you have your switch in, you can go ahead and button everything back down. See, your switch is right there. So, and it's a safety override. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and fill this hole up. I got some silicone to put in here and seal this up, so bugs and stuff don't get inside there. So we gotta fill it up with 100% silicone, so 100% waterproof, and keep everybody, all the critters and stuff out of there. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Make sure you get all the excess off of there. Anything that might cause it to not adhere to the surface. Silicone does stick pretty good. If you get on your hands, you'll find out. It's a mess to get off of there. So, okay, make sure you get the 100% silicone. It's the messy one. Doesn't clean up well. It's just goopy, and it does its job. And that will seal it up. It seals up really well. It's just goopy. That's what it's intended to do. Okay. All right. Give that a chance to dry before you put your cover back on. You might want to flatten it down right there where it's sticking up, and that may hold it back. In fact, you probably could put it on while it's wet, because it'll come off there anyway. So that might be even better idea. I'm going to do that right now. Okay, let's go ahead and close this up. Just make sure you keep that off your hands. It is messy, that's for sure. I think that will work, and that'll dry, and it should seal that hole up nice and tight, and when you have to remove it again, it'll just take the shape of the cover. That should work out good. Okay. I hope that helped a little bit. I didn't get to go through the whole process yesterday. I was in a hurry. I had things I had to do, and I was just trying to get this job done because we've got a lot more things we need to get done, and I wanted to complete that part of it. So hopefully that helped you and give you some ideas. The lighting I used, I will post here, and it comes from, I ordered it from Amazon. I think it's under $50. It comes with the controller that controls all your lighting functions. You got, I think, 5 to 7 different color sources. You can flash them. You can have solid colors. You can dim up and down. It does a perfect job. Also, I want to emphasize that all this lighting up here is it's actually enclosed. It's got a rubber jacket, like a white clear jacket around it, so it's weatherproof. So there's no water can get in there at all, and it goes on really nice. Like I said, once you clean the surface down and peel the back off and put it down, it goes on really easy, and it looks really nice. It's nice and clean. This is something that comes on. A lot of your new campers have the lighting already on them. It's about a $500 add-on, I believe. I think that's what the cost was on it to have it done. If you order your RV new, if it doesn't have it on there, I think it could be more than that, depending on where they gotta get the power source from. If you got electric awnings, it's a bit easier because you know you're going to be in close proximity of a power source, so it's not as hard to do. I hope this helps, and if you would, please give me a like and ring that bell, and of course subscribe. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.